Hey everybody, it's Lana from 3E Energy Healing. As I support everybody in their expansion, empowerment, and evolution, I want to come on here to start sharing more experiences and things that are happening in my spiritual journey. The goal is to raise the consciousness of humanity and to raise the vibration of humanity such that we can create a better outcome for all. Therefore, today, I wanted to come and share what's been happening over the past couple weeks. Just because, again, I think it's really important for us to start discussing together the spiritual experiences that we're having to enhance and to start manifesting spiritual awakening on this plane of existence and physical reality on Earth. So the whole purpose of going to Greece was to send a wave of love and compassion and light out to humanity, the whole entire world, with absolutely no judgment and no discernment between who that love goes to. So just absolute peace, love, and light to the world. And we did that over the course of the week, but at the end, the experience was very palpable, and actually for me, it was transformational. So I want to speak on a couple of things that did happen and did occur during this time. But I'll selectively talk about some of the more crazy experiences that I experienced during that week. And there's a lot more. Shit got weird. However, not in a bad way, in a really amazing way that helps you understand the plentiful variety of life that exists beyond our physical perceptions. And it was unlocking to a lot of mental concepts and limitations that we place on ourselves to get to have an experience with multidimensional beings. But since I was fully invested and absolutely there to transform and shift, I enjoyed every single second of all the experiences. Let me start just with the journey itself. And my journey started prior to leaving. So my journey started as I prepared to go and I connected with my spirit guides all along. I had a channeling session in September. And during that channeling session, I channeled information that was for me. I had a channeling session. I was told that I had to stop over in Istanbul. And I was kind of determining what was I going to do while I was in Istanbul for 20 hours. I had a free hotel through the ticket that I bought, the airline ticket. And I wanted to kind of make the use of my time there in Istanbul to see Turkey and to see like what Istanbul was all about. So I was like really excited about that, but I didn't really know exactly what to do. And I was told that I would receive an energy, a Sophia energy, while I was in Istanbul that was the key to my next steps on the journey to Greece. And during that particular meditation, I started feeling really nauseous. I started getting a migraine during that meditation. And I was channeling at the time, and I was being told the nauseousness is a feeling of unworthiness. And when you feel nauseous, it's a reminder to send love to your core, to your third chakra. And also, when you feel nauseous, you're not sick, just remember that this is energetic and it's a purge that you'll have to purge. And so I'm like, okay, well, how do I get rid of the nauseousness? Because at the moment, while I was meditating, I was getting an active migraine. And sometimes on really bad migraines, I'll get really nauseous. So I thought, okay, I'm feeling the nauseousness right now and I'm needing to rest. And so after I was meditating while I was in the bath, and after I got out of the bath, I laid down and I went to sleep and I just took care of myself. By the time I got to Greece, I'd totally forgotten about it, except for a few things that I was told that I knew I needed to do while I was in Greece. It was very specific in my meditation. It was very specific to say, you're going to receive an energetic activation while you're in Istanbul, and it requires the Sophia energy to be brought with you from Istanbul to Greece. So when I learned that one of the big mosques there is, well, it's a mosque now, but the Aga Sophia Mosque is a very ancient. First, it started off as a temple, and then it turned into a Christian church, and then it turned into a mosque. So this temple has geometric shapes inside through the mosaics on the wall, as that coincide with sacred geometry, with Christianity, and with Islam. So it actually brings all the kind of traditions, most of the world's traditions together, or at least the top two, I think, together under one roof. And so I tried to go there, but the day that I had to go there was a Friday. And if you don't know, the Islamic religion and Muslim people go to pray 4 times a day, but there's a longer prayer service on Friday. And so it's closed to people who are not going there to pray. And I was only there for 20 hours and I needed to get to the airport. So I ended up just walking around the mosque and looking at the Blue Mosque across the plaza, which is another very huge, beautiful mosque. And I spent the day going to the Grand Bazaar and just enjoying the culture in Istanbul. And then I had to get to the airport to fly to Athens. So I ate breakfast at the hotel. And by the time I got to the airport around noon, I was feeling nauseous. And I was like, oh God, what's going on? And so I ate lunch. And by the time I got onto the plane, I was like not feeling good. I took some papaya enzyme to help calm my stomach down. But by the time I got to Athens, I was like, oh gosh, I'm not feeling well. And my nephew actually lives in Athens as a professional basketball player at the moment. And so I was supposed to meet up with him and I couldn't eat. By the time we got to dinner, I was feeling so sick, so nauseous, and just so bad. And so I ended up getting extremely ill. I wasn't able to go see the Acropolis or anything. I was so sad about that. And so I ended up having to stay in Athens another night. And during the time that I was ill, I was really ill. I got a really high fever. I was shaking. I didn't know how I was going to switch hotels because I had to check out at noon and they didn't have availability for the next night. And during that time, I did remember that I was told about nausea, but I was so sick that all I could do was just know that my body was experiencing this for a reason. In the third chakra, which is the center of creation and identity. And that's where all the nausea was. And I was experiencing this, horrible sickness. So during that, a woman came to me of the dark side of life. Not a negative spirit or anything like that, but a woman showed up to me as an entity that was from the dark. And she came to me saying that this was a purge, an energetic purge that I needed to go through so that I can be an empty vessel by the time I got to Greece to receive new energy. And so I was like, okay, now I'm going to fast forward just a little bit so that I can rewind, because after 4 or 5 days later, during one of the meditations in the Stargate experience, I recalled that I received information during that channeling session that I mentioned back in September. So I re-listened to it. I was floored and stunned because the full transmission couldn't have been more foretelling and accurate of what had happened to me while I was in Istanbul. It was exactly what happened, and I had foretold this in my channeling session from my guides weeks earlier, and I forgot about it. So I was just kind of like floored a little bit that my channeling session was so accurate, and that everything that I was told during that channeling session actually happened and in the way, and it unfolded exactly the way that I was told, as I would pick up an energy, a Sophia energy at the Aga Sophia, and I would be nauseous and I would purge, and that this was energetic, and that I would need to have that emptiness by the time I arrived in Greece. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as I arrived in Greece, I started feeling better. And in Kos, the island that we were supposed to go to, because I was sick in Athens. So I was already in Greece. So one of the things that happened was that one of the presenters, Vivian Chavot, she is a French Canadian woman who is actually Arcturian. She's a physical hybrid being with an Arcturian consciousness, and has complete recall of Arcturian consciousness and her life as an Arcturian, as well as a member of the Arcturian Council, which, if you don't know anything about extraterrestrial groups or races, Arcturians are some of the most ancient beings with the highest vibration and are embodied created love. And they have a very high spiritual vibration, and they exist to help other species reach enlightenment and join the galactic star groups that are for the light. So all of her messages are very high vibration. She goes into great detail about her life as an Arcturian hybrid with, grounded here in humanity on Earth, but having an Arcturian high vibrational existence in the multidimensional realm. So very fascinating, very interesting. But when I came into the room the first day, I perceived a big round craft descending into the room. This room was huge. It was over 1,000 people were there in person. And this big energetic round thing descended into the room, and then Arcturian beings came out and just circled the whole room. Okay. And that's what I perceived. And I told my roommate this. And that night I went on the beach, which is the Aegean Sea. And it's obviously a different part of the sky than here where I am in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I sat there at dusk, and I thought, okay, star people, if you're really with us, give me a sign. Show yourself to me. Give me a craft. Give me something that, I can say, yes, we've connected. We've connected together. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to look at the sky, and there's like 3 stars that I think, oh, maybe that's the Big Dipper. And I was like, let me check. So I get out my sky map guide. And as I'm doing that, I have to re-download it, and the internet's super slow there. So I'm re-downloading my sky map onto my phone, and this star in the corner over here is blinking at me. Blinking, blinking, blinking. Now, the sky is not fully dark yet. This is the only bright star in the sky at this point in time. And it's like blinking. So I get my phone as the star map is downloading, and I'm trying to zoom in on it, and it's like brilliantly flaring like a diamond in the sun. And I was like, wow, I wonder what star that is. And so I get the app up. So I'm reminding you that this woman, Vivian, is Arcturian. And I go to look at this blinking star, and by now it's like blinking at me. And I look out of all of the stars in the whole entire sky at this moment that I'm asking my Arcturian friends to give me a sign. I turn my phone, and the star is Arcturus. I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now. Thank you. Thank you for giving me what I asked for. I asked for something to acknowledge that they were there with me. Absolutely. I have the chills. Oh my gosh, I have the chills because I can't believe that actually happened. But it did. So I walked into the next couple days just with the sense of wonder, gratitude, and love of me just being there and having this opportunity to go for free. When I asked to have an experience, I was given one, and I was able to start eating, which was also good. So the next thing that happened that is of note is that on the second to last day, on Thursday night, Prageet, who channels the being Alcazar, he was saying how the Arcturians have put a circle in the room and are circled around the room, just like I saw the first day. So that gave me another sense of validation that like what I'm perceiving is other people are perceiving it too. And especially him, who's like leading this whole group. So it helped. I've got so many validations during the week that I'm on track, that my intuition is spot on, that the beings that I work with are, you know, actually it's not just that I'm like imagining this or whatever. Like there's so many validations, but what I really want to talk about is the very last experience that I had. And I'm going to save that for my next video because it deserves its own. But for now, like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell so that you can hear other of my stories. And comment below if you've also had similar experiences with synchronicity, because I want to start reaching and interacting with the people that share the same goal to raise the consciousness of humanity, to start normalizing the experiences with extraterrestrials, with our spirit guides, with meditation, and with the spirit world, because I know all y'all are experiencing it, because I am, and I'm not crazy. So I know that the things that I've experienced, I don't have to convince anyone that they're real, because I know them. I know that it's real for me. It's so nice to get the validation and to get physical manifestations of my path, like getting a free trip to this experience in Greece. It's nice to get physical manifestations of validation, like Arcturus blinking at me when I asked the Arcturians to give me a sign. So yeah, like it's really great to get that. And the more that I stand within my own knowledge and my own knowing that my path is my own, that I'm on the right path, and that I'm not afraid to share it, the more I start to experience miracles in everyday reality and experience joy. And experiencing joy and love is the subject of my next video. So please look at part 2 of the Stargate experience in Greece, and I will share with you an experience that forever has changed me and will serve my path probably more than anything I've ever experienced in my life. So that's next. See you there.